Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 165. This podcast is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, we experience the corruption of the Dreaming City, talk about the new Crucible mode breakthrough, and discuss upcoming changes to the infusion economy. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT, and of course, CyborgSasquatch. Hello, my friend. How's it going?
Hello. Feel like I just talked to you.
Right? It's one of those weeks where we literally just recorded 2 nights ago.
Was it 2 nights? Wow.
Three nights?
Feels longer. I lose track of time when I'm playing Destiny.
I'm with you.
I don't know what day it is anymore.
Well, and there's so much to do right now. We've probably already put in plenty of time just in these 2 days alone. So
it's quite impressive how, let's see, we're I think we're in our 1, 2, 3, like going into the 4th week of this expansion, and there is a nonstop, just
nothing is slowing
flow
down.
of stuff to do, man.
Yeah, I mean, not only the grind, but all the stuff that's happening in the world, which we'll talk about this episode. So much stuff going on.
Absolutely. Well,
so many things.
Let's get into it, man. Do we have any announcements this week?
We don't, other than just, I guess I could do a quick reminder. We mentioned it last week. Dirt Fam Midwest Meetup, aka Dirt Fam Reunion, is October. What is it, 12th, 13th, and 14th? Is that right? Yes.
Coming up.
If you guys have any interest in meeting in Sedalia, Missouri for a little Dirt Fam meetup, message me on Discord. It's AER0KNIGHT with a 0 or Scoreo70. Scoreo 70. And you guys, anybody, more than welcome to come. Just a little meetup, Destiny LAN party. We talked about it last week. There you have it. It'll be soon. It'll be fun. Good times.
Arrow will be there.
I will be there.
Lots of other cool Guardians from the Midwest and beyond will be there.
Yes. It's a bring your own everything. Your console, your own chair, your own snacks. We'll have pizza or something, but it's a good old classic LAN party. You know, those are fun, man. Good old school couch co-op experience, except we'll all be connected online and not just via controller ports on a Nintendo 64, even though I think we might have some old Nintendo consoles hooked up. Just
nice.
Yes. Anyways,
bring those Switches, man. You know, Mario Party comes out next week.
Yes, I want to say
week, if you're listening.
Ori has already mentioned having that.
Because you know you can like put them like next to each other or something and play. That's kind of cool, man.
Something crazy.
That'd be a good fun game for y'all to play.
Yeah. We'll have to try and get you on a FaceTime or something. So you can say hi to the peeps.
For sure.
Sounds good.
Well, all right. Now it's time for the news. This week at Bungie, the Dreaming City revealed its underworld. The curse on the Dreaming City has grown to its most potent state. Bungie writes, as the curse grows stronger, the world changes with it. And there were quite a few changes in the Dreaming City this week and beyond. Also, the new breakthrough mode dropped in the Crucible. Did you get a chance to check this out yet?
I did, actually. I played a game this evening. I only played one game, but I gotta say, after reading about it so much and hearing about it in development, I really enjoyed it.
Really?
I'm interested to see how it feels actually in the comp playlist starting next week.
Yeah.
Because objective modes, sometimes they don't feel right in comp. But I will say this one was a lot of fun, dude. Like, I had a really good game. It was clear what the objectives were, and it was fun to have those almost control points, to focus on and kind of, I guess give everyone in the game a focal point, if you will. And it was cool to just cap the point, and then whoever caps it first, then you're in defense mode. And it's fun I was immediately like kind of strategizing for my super if we were defending our vault. So anyways, I mean, I've enjoyed it so far. I'm gonna try and dive in some more. But did you get a chance or no?
I haven't yet. I've been deeply engrossed in PvE, of course.
Yeah.
But I had a question about it. I remembered when they were previewing this. I want to say back in July when Game Informer was covering stuff, and they talked a little bit about this. I thought I remembered that when you're defending, that there's some kind of mechanic that is like a debuff to the defenders, like you move slower or something. Is that?
I didn't notice anything. I did not notice anything like that, but I could have missed it.
It might have been something they were just testing or playing around with. I'm not sure. I'll have to play it and see.
Yeah,
maybe I'll go back
look.
and look at some of that coverage or some of those write-ups. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I kind of
curious
remember
about
what you're talking about. In my game tonight, I did not notice.
I remember talking to you
like
about
that.
something like that, but
Yeah.
I've heard some mixed results. I talked to a couple of friends that played it. One of them, Jump Smith, he plays a lot of competitive Crucible. He's a Crucible addict, as they are. And he mentioned he's really interested to see how it plays when it's actually in the comp playlist, because right now it's kind of a mix of, really competitive players that are just in there, sweating, playing hard, and then a mix of, folks going in, trying it out and not having no idea what to do. And it's just kind of I won't say like a mess, but it's a spread of skill level.
Yeah,
I imagine that will change in the competitive playlist.
There'll be definitely some strategies as a team. I'm sure you can exploit how to win this game mode.
I was talking to my buddy, Better Off Blue tonight, who had played it a bit, and he said that it really seems like once you get the jump on things that you can really easily steamroll people with super and heavy. Once you're, on the offense and you've captured what is it called? The vault. And you're trying to capture the point. He said pretty much every game, once you got that upper hand, if he was defending, they would just get steamroll with supers, and then somebody would get heavy and like spawn camp with heavy. Yeah. And there was nothing they could do. And then he said he did the same exact thing when they were on offense with a good team. So I don't know if that's just because people don't know, how to play it well yet. And so it's really easy to get in that position, or if there's imbalance there, it might take some time to.
Yeah. And those are the exact kind of thoughts that I had with it too, because really in Destiny period, if you get behind in any game mode, it's been like that since the start of this game. There's a snowball mechanic because supers come into play and all that. So,
between supers and heavy, if you have like good map control, that's always
especially
been a very
in
obvious thing. If you have strong teams that know how to chain supers, capture heavy, control areas of the map, you can really just get plowed.
Right. Oh yeah.
When I think about that, I just think about Pantheon.
Oh, yep.
Like getting your spawn pushed in Pantheon and you can't get out of that area. That's one of the reasons that map is semi unpopular with some people, because it's not circular. It's got a linear kind of long, and if a team can control that map, you could really get hurt.
Yeah,
bad.
And it's so easy. I mean, it can happen on any game mode, and
sure,
on any map. And what I do like about Breakthrough is it's not like go plant this and then you have so many seconds to defuse. It's capture this and then defend this. So if you're defending and your team can still stack supers, you can hopefully maybe counter a snowball effect. Okay. But then the comp part of it is, I like objective modes in comp, and I appreciate that they allow for Guardians to have another way to win in the competitive playlist. But at the same time, I really like my comp modes being like a Slayer type of just clash, just survival, because in the end, it's about outsmarting your opponent and killing them. And if, Countdown it's a fun mode, but in comp, it's just kind of rough sometimes because you've got the quick plant strategy. And once somebody plants that bomb and you hear that ticker going off, it changes your whole mindset, and, there's a whole conversation there about game modes like that being in the competitive playlist, but we'll see how Breakthrough feels in it. I feel like I'm going to enjoy it right now better than Countdown. Countdown I enjoy as a game mode, but I kind of would rather see it in quick play than
I like Countdown.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about it in comp. It just I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and forth, enjoying it and not. As a game mode in general, I like it, but in comp, just something about planting the bomb and it being the competitive playlist and objective based and not, I know you still can kill your team, the opposing team, and win. But I don't know, man. We can talk about this in a Crucible episode. Competitive, I dislike my Slayer modes. That's pretty much the gist of it. I love that Clash is in the competitive playlist now. Like it's in Control. Control still has a lot of that team deathmatch aspect to it. You're just kind of focusing around control points. Anyways, I can talk about that for a while. We'll save that for a different episode.
Well, let us know what you think if you're listening, if you got a chance to play Breakthrough, if you enjoyed it. I did get to play. I played one Crucible match early tonight when I was waiting to do something, and I got to check out, one of the new maps. I think what is it called? It's the one that's in the Dreaming City.
Oh, yeah. Citadel? Is that right?
Yeah, Citadel. Yep. That's right.
I'm just guessing. I'm imagining the picture.
I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
Is that right?
I was watching the trailer for it earlier. I'm pretty sure it's called Citadel. It's in the Dreaming City.
I can't wait to play that one.
Real pretty map. Yeah.
I got to play the one when I played my Breakthrough match. It was the one we saw on the live stream reveal way back. I don't remember what it was called. I can't remember what that was.
Yeah, that's the
I'm trying to pull up last week's TWAB because they were all
the Firebase Echo.
Yes.
And it's got the elevator.
So. Yep. That's
how was that? It
was cool. I'm still
cool
trying
feature.
I'm trying to learn it. I very quickly figured out on my radar, I'm like, wait, there's a place above me. How do I get there?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's got those cool. that hallway with the glass or the shield that you can see through and see what's going on in the arena.
Yep. Yeah.
It's a cool map.
The control point starting off was down underneath in kind of a real tight zone with just a couple entry points. So it ended up being a major shotgun fest. But shotguns, they're all over.
Yeah, shotguns. It was really funny that one match I went into, and I was just running, exploring. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go this way, and I go into one of it's kind of a lot of like concentric, like dome, like circular shapes that are connected by hallways and pathways. So I run into one of those, and this guy just absolutely maps me with a shotgun. I mean, like 10 meters away, and I'm like, what just happened? And I remembered that the chaperones back in the game. I was like, oh, and I look at my kill feed, it's like the chaperone. I'm like, dang, dude.
Yep. And that thing's kinetic, right? Because
yes,
I realized that the other night, and I'm like, okay, I might have to finish this quest and pair it with my bow. Because I've been getting destroyed with that thing.
That precision,
by that thing.
That precision shot, man, will one shot you. That's what it's all about.
I still have those moments in the Crucible right now too, where I forget that I have special ammo, and I'll run around with a primary or my bow, and then I'll immediately get, like you said, mapped with a shotty or hit with a sniper, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, it's a new sandbox.
I have the problem of forgetting that you only have like 2 rounds in a shotgun,
and then I'll go up with full auto and
yeah, well, I'll drop a couple people, and then I'll I'll kind of be in the zone and I'll be kind of jump around doing my thing, and I'll go to, jump over a guy and rush him and pull the trigger. Nothing happens. And he just drops me.
I did that tonight. Exactly. And then you pick up ammo and you got to pay attention if you need to reload and all that good stuff. I've done it, sir. I have done it.
Yep. All right. Well, let's continue here with the TWAB. They talked about the cost of masterwork cores and the drop rate of exotic weapons and armor. So they asked the investment team to talk about these things a little bit, and here's what they had to say. The goals for adding masterwork cores to infusion costs were making infusing and masterworking a meaningful choice. Infusion and masterwork should not be mutually exclusive. I would say they've did not hit their goal on the second thing. It did not.
Right.
Those things seem to be mutually exclusive, but either way, they identified the problems with the masterwork core economy. Masterwork cores have a misleading name. When they were created, the definition of a pinnacle item put the emphasis almost entirely on masterworking. We expanded that definition in Forsaken, but didn't update the currency. And then second, there are not enough reliable sources to earn masterwork cores, which can make deciding what to spend them on too difficult. So there are plans to address these problems. They've monitored masterwork core supplies, and the numbers aren't as high as they would like. They're planning to create more reliable and plentiful core sources. And they're going to rename masterwork cores so their purpose is more obvious.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess that's all a good change. From the get-go, it just doesn't make sense. It almost feels like either this wasn't well thought through or it was tacked on at the end. I don't understand how anybody that was in charge of the economy could have thought, we're going to make masterwork cores be part of infusion and not think, well, that name's kind of confusing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
well,
I'm not trying to down on anybody. It's just, it feels like it was perhaps a last minute addition or something, because typically these things are a little bit more well thought out. Right.
Yeah. And after our conversation last week, it makes sense. My initial, I guess not my initial, after thinking on it, I feel like in this current state that it's in right now, it should go away. It shouldn't be a requirement, mainly because, and I think you mentioned this last week, what they've addressed here, it's confusing. Masterwork cores should have been related to masterworking something. The only thing I like what they're doing here, and I'm totally fine with it still being part of the infusion costs, and having direct paths like we talked about last week. I just don't want what they're doing. I think is what I would prefer, because I really do like the decisions I'm having to make on infusing and not having a crazy amount of materials. It just doesn't make sense that a material I have to have is related to masterworking and not infusing. So I would be, I think I'm fine with them changing the name of it versus adding another material. But are they really kind of doing this?
Is if you're infusing something, why are there so many different types of materials? Why?
True. Yeah.
Why do I also need planetary materials, and I also need glimmer, and I also need masterwork cores?
But see, I'm fine with the planetary materials too,
complex?
I'm fine with that too, because I love the value that creates when I'm running around. Now I stop and I pick up those materials. I like that crafting aspect. But
that's been around since D1, and it went away, and they brought it back, and it makes sense of how they've kind of streamlined that, which makes even more sense why masterwork cores
aren't needed,
wouldn't be necessary in that process.
Right. Yeah.
And would be necessary for masterworking.
I've gotten to the point where part of my routine now, every time I log on as I go visit Spider, I buy Masterwork cores, 2 of them, because it costs 30 legendary shards. And then I usually spend about 10 to 20 legendary shards on whichever of the 2 planetary materials that he's selling for 1 shard, because that's pretty cheap. Yeah. And then maybe buy 5 or 10,000 in Glimmer of stuff, and it's like, okay, now that I'm saying this out loud, is that really the goal? Like, do we want to go buy this stuff from the vendor? But, when I'm running around on any planet, I get off my Sparrow and I go pick it up. So I love that. And I don't want to get to a point where we're just infusing everything 24/7, left and right, all over the place like we used to, because I love having that decision factor. But I think, I just wonder if this fix, while I think it's a good one and they're addressing the feedback from the community, I wonder if we'll be on just the opposite end of it. Now we're going to have a material that's called something else, but we still use it to masterwork items. You know what I'm saying? Right. Does that make sense? So now we're almost on the flip side of it.
Right.
So I don't know.
We'll have to see how reliable it is to get these cores and, what's the income stream, right? We're pretty familiar with what it, you can tell me how much Glimmer you can pull in a night, on a 3-hour session, and you can figure out, okay, I can go and I can buy this many planetary mats if I need them, and et cetera, so on. So we kind of need to have an idea of, how many Masterwork cores are we going to get? Because I'm thinking about, if I'm also having to use these to infuse, I feel like I'm missing out on a part of the game that they added with Warmind and such in masterworking guns and armor. Because
especially
I
in the
really can't afford it.
Right now, right?
I'm having to grow my power up, and there's guns I could potentially masterwork, but I'm not, because I have to save those items for, infusing things that I need to do content, right? Yep. I need to be able to infuse the right guns so that I can tackle a piece of content. So the economy is a gate to really being able to efficiently or properly complete a piece of content for me.
And a part of that is how long the grind is now too. I mean, we don't have a quick grind to max power. We've got a pretty long process here. So,
right.
So it all plays together.
You can't, underrepresent how important those pieces of the economy are. It's not just about, you can't, infuse your favorite gun or masterwork your favorite gun because it's 10 power less. It's like, no, I have to be X power to do this available activity this week. And I'm sorry, but I can't do it with an edge transit and a scout rifle, because those are broken, so I have to infuse the proper weapons to actually be able to do the content, adequately. And if I don't have the materials, that's a problem. And having to prioritize that prevents me from doing things like masterworking guns that will make them better, to do things like orb generation or give it a better handling or what have you. So I'm actually missing out on a feature in the game because of the economy. And that's where it kind of gets a bit frustrating, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll see how they address this. I am pleased that they're identifying this, in, fairly efficiently.
Yeah.
Time frame. I don't know how long this is going to take to come out. I'm hoping it will be soon, but at least they're, they've watched for a couple of weeks and they're like, all right, we're going to make some changes.
Well, that's the thing, that's a good point. I wanted to give them props. I mean, the expansion's been out, like you said, we're in our 3rd week, moving into our 4th. And it's like, this is an economy issue. Here in a minute, we're going to talk about exotics. And remember back in the TWAB days when we didn't hear anything ever, so it's so nice to see this in there already.
If you play Destiny 1 proper at launch, it would take months to fix issues.
Right.
Months.
Yeah. And it's, and I don't mean to say, the TWABs they were good and there was information in there. I just mean very specific things like this that is very topical and what the community is concerned about, to see it in the TWAB like this right away. I do think this is a good change, a good start to see what happens. And, you know, my hope is, like I said, you know, my final thought is I do personally want infusing things to be costly and to be a decision. But, you know, I think there's some tweaking that can be had here. So we'll, like you said, we'll see how it plays out and go from there. It's you know, if we could just get to 600 in a couple days like we did before, this is more of a, like you said, a leveling problem right now for us. But I don't want that either. I want it to take a while to get to 600. So there's definitely a balance here they got to hit, right?
But your climb in power has nothing to do with infusion.
Right. No, it's exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Like, that's where they're missing the mark a little bit on it. So
right. I mean,
a little bit of tweaking.
Your power climb is totally dependent on like a different function in the game, and it's more about, okay, I'm this power, but I want, or I need to use this particular gun, and that's where the choices come in, and that's fine. Like, you shouldn't be able to just take every weapon in your arsenal and infuse it up to your most highest power and whatever. Like, I get that.
It just, and sitting here talking to you about it as a final thought, it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because as much as I don't really think we need another material in the game, I just wonder in this particular instance if it does make more sense to keep masterwork cores in there without a doubt related to masterworking your gear, and then maybe bring in something like etheric light like we used to have that is used for, you know, they've got to figure out paths to get both of those. And you almost like we've talked about, at that point, do you just take that requirement out of infusing? I
mean, I'm frankly surprised that if they wanted it to, you know, have different sources, that they didn't bring weapon parts and armor parts back into it, or gunsmith part. I mean, that was originally what it was. It was a glimmer, you know, a planetary material, and then
take out the
version of gun or armor parts, and that was the economy, you know, and you got those things from completing activities and dismantling other guns and et cetera, right? I mean, I have 4,000 gunsmith parts. What am I going to do with all that?
Yeah, that's a good
Turn it in to get
dude.
A bunch of crappy guns from the gunsmith?
That is a really good point. Instead of adding another material to the economy, just take out the cores. If this doesn't work, if this still seems confusing to players, take out the cores and just add gunsmith materials to the list of what
everybody has a ton of them, man.
Yeah, even if it was 50 per infusion, or, you know, but yeah, we'll see how it pans out.
Yep. Next up, they talk about exotic drop rates. So they intend for exotics to be meaningful long-term chases. Finding an exotic should be rare but impactful. The problems that they've identified is they are falling short of the impactful part of that goal. There's nothing exciting or powerful about getting your 4th fighting lion when all you really want is a 2-tailed fox.
I thought they were going to say there's nothing exciting about not getting any exotics. That's where I thought they were going for.
They don't address that at all. They say exotic drop rates, but they're not talking about drop rates. They're talking about drops. Plans for addressing those problems. We plan to increase the chance for exotics to drop something you don't already have. Do you know, I feel like they got it right on when they released the Taken King. Do you remember the Taken King? Like, you would get an exotic, and the majority of them, you know, the first several weeks would be the new stuff. And I wonder, like, how they changed that. I mean, all those things have changed so many times since then, but I just remember, you know, getting exotics, and they were more frequent, you know, than pre the Taken King, but you were just way more likely to get new stuff. So hopefully they
see, I got
something similar.
What's that Titan chess piece? The one that
Actium
adds
War Rig.
Yeah, that was in my screenshot the other day. I got that one the other day. And I mean, I was pumped. I got it just off of a random yellow in the blind well. Yeah. It wasn't even a boss. It was just a random it popped out, and I'm like, no way, is that I thought it was a green, dude. I was like, wait,
two nights ago. Yeah, they look green in the blind well. It's really funny. 2 nights ago, I didn't even see the engram. I killed like a red bar in the Dreaming City, and it just popped up, and I had a sunshot.
Nice.
I was just like, oh wait, I just got a sunshot. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
but
I would
again,
be
an
okay.
old exotic.
I would be okay. If I think the first thing is they're definitely, while I don't want them to just be raining from the sky, I want them, I think making them dropping less frequently does add a like major special exciting factor to them, but I do think they're a little on the infrequent side right now. So because of that, when you get old ones, it stings a bit more, right? So I think if the drop rate maybe was increased just a little bit, I don't want them all over the place.
That's what I've heard a couple other of
maybe
my friends said. Maybe just
so
10%, just like a little bit more.
Yeah.
Where I think where the exotic economy is really off is with Xur.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, dude, we talked about this on a couple episodes ago, and you said you didn't hear that, but I've heard from a couple different people now that at some point they did say that his actual inventory will not sell Forsaken exotics right now.
They've never said that. The last time they
sure?
talked about Xur, they said you're not going to be able to find them anymore. They said that the engram
I gotta find what I'm talking about. I'm almost certain.
If you find it, I will eat my words, but
I'm pretty darn certain I don't have,
because they left it intentionally ambiguous. They were like, that's all we're going to say about Xur from now on.
Yeah. I just remember whatever it was. I'm like, okay. Cause I remember the difference in the two. I'm like, okay, he didn't have the, what is that engram called?
It was the legacy engram.
The one he has
whatever.
now. I don't remember what it's called. He didn't have that for the first week or whatever, and then they fixed that, and then they did talk about that, and then man, I'll try to find it. Maybe I read it wrong. But
I'm pretty sure that's all they mentioned was that he would only offer.
He still hasn't had one, right? He hasn't sold a Forsaken exotic, right?
Disclaimer, we're recording this on a Thursday, the 27th.
So he's probably selling one right now.
For all we know, he's selling one by now, and
he did.
This is all pointless, but I think that that's where the economy is off, because when exotics were this rare, the consolation was that Xur would have something on Friday.
Right. Yeah.
Something.
Xur,
and he almost always would sell at least something that was new.
Yeah.
And he
hasn't
that's
yet. That's the thing is, Xur needs to be exciting anyways, and the only thing he's got right now is exotics. And
who cares about year one exotics? Like, why have they undervalued that character so much when he has always been so cool and valuable? You know?
And what I mean by he only has exotics is, at some point I hope he's more relevant with some sort of quests each week or something we can grind for.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. There used to be exotic quests that involved him. There's so many things that they can do with Xur, and they haven't done anything with them in a while, man.
And right now, like you said, he doesn't even have exotics, or at least he hasn't been selling them. So the new ones. So it's like he
just got old stuff.
He's Xur right now.
No quests, no materials that are useful. Just nothing. He's just selling a bunch of junk.
Xur on the weekends.
Give Xur some love. Hashtag show Xur some love.
Yep. He's even missing out on that part where, when he is exciting, while we want him to be exciting throughout, when he is exciting is at the launch of every expansion.
Right.
And
that would always historically be when he was the most useful, is that first month of an expansion. He would have some really cool stuff, and you could get your hands on things because it's hard. You're not guaranteed exotics. Like, that's part of the game. So I think that is really the missing piece of, having an exotic drop rate this low and this unreliable with no way to buff it. There's no 3 of coins anymore. You just take what you can get. And, I think they really need to do something with them. So I don't know, maybe this reset or next or something, he'll sell some new stuff, man. I would love to just get my hands on anything. I have no new exotic guns.
I have a couple new exotic guns. I just don't have, I haven't gotten any of the armor. And again, man, like I think you hit on something there.
No, I have,
you have some guns?
Spades.
Yeah, well, there, but ones that aren't quest related. Like I got
no drop.
Yeah, but I think it is important that drop rates are lower than they used to be. Again, it makes it special when you get one. I think we've covered some other things that could be in play here that make you feel like maybe you have a little bit more control, like Zur and 3 coins. You know, even though 3 coins have been broken and are gone, they at least made you feel like back in D1 or you know, when they were effective, like you had some sort of control on trying to get yourself an exotic, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, you know, we'll see. Again, we're talking about duplicates here though in this TWAB. We're not talking about drop rates. So.
Yeah, I will be happy if we have when we do get those drops. That's a great improvement if we have a better chance of getting something that we don't have than what we do.
Well, dude, there's so many awesome Titan exotics, and I didn't even know about the gauntlets on the hunter until you told me. So now I like want those super bad.
I mean, I've looked through all the exotic armors, and almost all of them seem like they do really cool stuff. Like, I want to get my hands on all of the stuff. So
I don't have any new armor yet. No new exotic armor. I do not have.
Yeah, I got the one-eyed. I keep forgetting what it's called, but the Titan exotic with the one eye. Yeah, that looks real creepy. I keep that one equipped all the time, man.
Titan's got some potent stuff this go around.
Yeah.
I'm waiting and excited to get one.
Yep. Well, let's talk about Iron Banner now. You know, we just talked about this last episode with Iron Banner fresh in our minds, and I am shocked at how quickly they've responded to the feedback on Iron Banner.
Yep.
I mean, this is huge, expedient.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had senior designer Jeremiah Peischel. Forgive me if I butcher your name. He says, one of the goals we have for Iron Banner is that it's an opportunity for lower power players to catch up or re-engage in their pursuit of power. Based on your feedback and our analytics, we're not meeting that goal. There are 2 changes that we're making to help resolve this. The first change is to reduce the completion values for several of the event bounties. Currently, it's very difficult for a lower power player to complete the bounties due to the gameplay disadvantages they experience. So they detail 6 different bounties that had available, and almost all of them have significantly or a significant lowering in their requirements. That looking through them, they seem a lot more achievable to me. Yep. Especially that orbs generated, man.
Oh yeah,
generating 100 orbs in Iron Banner. Goodness gracious,
PvP,
that was
period. Yeah,
that was high. Yeah, so they've halved that one. I mean, looking at these, like the values they changed them to, and the time I was able to play, I would have completed most of these. Yep. And then the second change is all the bounties will now provide powerful gear. That's a big one.
I mean, I know there are many voices in the community, but sometimes it just seems like they are listening to us, Cyborg. We said it for the last 2 weeks that, like, in that TWAB where they first mentioned it, they said, it hinted that this would be an alternative if you weren't a raider of Destiny. And with 2 powerful engrams from 2 bounties of 8? It didn't seem like a powerful climb alternative, and this changes it immediately, dude. Like I'm all in, man. Like all of those bounties give me powerful gear. That's excellent.
For sure.
Major props, dude. Like you said, because this is the Thursday, 2 days after Iron Banner, the first Iron Banner of Season 4 concludes. 2 days later, they've already had a meeting, got the team together. Read all of our feedback and are telling us that these changes are coming for the next one, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big deal, man. Yeah.
I want to unpack a little bit, though. The headline here, or the goal that they state, is that it's an opportunity for lower power players to catch up or re-engage in their pursuit of power. And I was on Twitter today, and I know I credit to our friend Bones. He had a really good point about that statement or that goal. And he said, let me see, I'm going to pull up the tweet so that I don't misquote him. One moment. Where is it?
Bones from Crucible Radio.
So he said, I like the changes to Iron Banner bounties, but the description of goals/feedback received is super strange. Why would it be an activity to help low power guardians level up when it is uniquely designed to set them at a disadvantage?
Mm-hmm.
I'm also struggling to assume that feedback was pretty mixed. I didn't see anyone in favor. What did the feedback really look like? In the context of Forsaken's economy/power level structure, nothing about power levels in PvP makes any sense at all, which is a bummer. I get his point. It's kind of a catch-22. They're saying we want lower power players to have an opportunity to do things to catch up. Mm-hmm. But it's an activity in which lower power players are at a unique disadvantage that makes it that more difficult to complete those bounties.
Yeah. I feel
like I get it.
Yeah. That statement said in a completely different way basically means they want to give lower power guardians who aren't doing, I guess, the difficult PvE activity a way to gain power. But that's exactly right. They're going to go in there trying to complete these bounties, and with power mattering, it's going to be that much more difficult for them to complete those bounties.
Going a little deeper into it, I think the real goal that the team there want is to have another activity for players to play catch up, right? Or for low powered players to have an activity where, okay, if I grind this activity this week, I can, get some gains on things that maybe I couldn't do. So maybe it's a player who doesn't have, as much time or as many teammates. So they're not doing the raid, or they're not doing the hardest streaming city stuff. Like, if you look at the type of player that they're trying to target, it's a player that probably either doesn't have the time or the team or the desire to tackle in-game PvE activities that drop you the best loot. Mm-hmm. And when you look at that type of player, going in underpowered in Iron Banner solo or with two other players or whatever puts them at a disadvantage no matter what. So I feel like they're trying to use Iron Banner for this, but it's the wrong activity. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It would almost be better suited to have that goal applied to some other type of activity like Faction Rally.
Yeah, I was thinking
or something else that you can actually do by yourself. Mm-hmm. I mean, going into Iron Banner solo is a terrible experience.
Yeah.
That is the last thing you want to do.
It's team. People that don't even PvP come around for Iron Banner to jump in with their clan and their team to go get some stuff done, right?
Right.
Yeah, so, that makes sense. I don't know, it's an interesting
I feel like they're having the same problem with this activity that they've been struggling with for like 4 years. Mm-hmm. And they just still haven't cracked it.
What is it for?
What is it? Who is it for? What is it for?
Yeah, who is it for?
And then at the end of the day, there's this big power range, but given enough time, that's going to close and it won't matter anymore. Mm-hmm. A month from now, even everybody's going to be above a certain power and there's not going to be any difference in the power curve. Yeah, and then power really doesn't matter anymore.
Do we really need power advantage?
Right. So then,
and I see Bones' point. Yeah.
Why have that at a time when it creates the biggest disadvantage for the most disenfranchised player? Let me see. They're really getting stuck to them when it really hurts the most.
Yeah. Man, there's so many pieces to the puzzle, dude. As much we talked about that topic many episodes ago. I always love the idea of just the general idea of power mattering in some sort of Crucible game mode. Iron Banner seems like that's the place for it. I've always said I'm fine with it in Trials too, but I totally get, as a Crucible player, I get what Bones is saying. Like, Crucible is supposed to be, as far as power and level, you're on a balanced, you're even, and where things come into play is your arsenal, your loadout, and your skill level.
Right.
And I get that point. And maybe Iron Banner, it seems like if power was going to matter, Iron Banner is the place for it. But again, like you said, this and what he brought up, it's confusing here with what they've said as the goal. So
yeah,
I don't know, dude. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. I don't know on that one. That one's just confusing.
I definitely don't know what the solution is. I don't know. To kind of continue on this, they talk about power and how it applies to players in the Crucible, and they have given us a graph.
Curves.
We haven't seen a power curve graph in a very long time.
Old days.
Yep, but it actually compares the scary D1 power graph to the Taken King, and then to Forsaken. This one is a lot gentler curve, but then they explain the math behind it to keep it simple. If you're at the same level as your opponent, your outgoing damage is multiplied by 1, so there's no change. If you're 100 power below, your outgoing damage is multiplied times 0.8, so you would do 20% less damage, and so forth. You'd have to look at the curve and apply the math. And the curve works the other way. If you're above your opponent, you do in a percentage more damage. So it kind of breaks down how that curve works. Good luck trying to interpret that when you're playing the Crucible, but they're at least laying it bare so you can know, what kind of power you might need if you're facing a certain level of, player in the Crucible.
It made me realize, on the last episode, I said I wasn't really ready to jump in Iron Banner yet because my power level was lower and I just had other stuff to do, and there wasn't really anything other than 2 bounties that was going to help me progress in that. But at the same time, I have said in the past, I do like Iron Banner having power mattering, but even my decisions are interesting because I like the idea of it in Iron Banner, but I hesitated on jumping in because I don't want to get destroyed because I haven't had time to grind as much as some of the other Guardians, So it's like, what do you do with that activity? Because even I guess maybe I don't even know what I want out of that activity. That's it. I don't know. It's an interesting issue.
I do not know.
Because like you said, over time, it's all irrelevant anyways. Because everyone plateaus at some point, gets up higher in their power level, and we're all on even ground. So
I will say, regardless, though, the change to the rewards will make it a more rewarding experience for me. Next time it comes around.
Yeah, I
It'll
don't
be
envy
worth the time.
I don't envy their conversations that they have had and continue to have about Iron Banner and what their goal is with it. But in the meantime, making it more rewarding and allowing you to grind more power is a major improvement. Major. So
Well, next up, they showed off some art portfolios. This time from artists, I think from High Moon Studios. They had High Moon Studios work on a lot of the Forgotten Shore assets and the building of that, destination and the art. And
you said Forgotten Shore again.
What is it? I don't even know anymore. Tangled Shore. There we go.
When you said it a couple episodes ago, somebody tweeted us and said, or maybe it was in Discord. They told you they say the same thing.
I can't keep it straight. I think that maybe like the Dreaming City has a Forgotten Shore. Maybe, I don't know, man.
I'm just giving you trouble.
It's tough. So Tangled Shore, right? Tangled.
I think so. I'm confused now.
I'm gonna write it. On I have a whiteboard here.
It's so
Tangled.
Funny. It's like, what is Now I can't. Now I'm gonna mess up the name of the last raid lair. Spire of
Stars.
Yeah, and we would say Spire.
Spire of Worlds. Eater of Spires.
Yes.
Whatever.
Tango
Chore. Go check this out. There's some great artwork here in their portfolios if you're into that sort of thing.
Cool
some
stuff,
really cool stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Next up in the art world, Bungie's putting out an APB for artists to design their next holiday greeting card. This is pretty cool. So, you can submit it on the creations page on bungie.net with the words Bungie Holiday 2018. They've got some, technical requirements for it. And then they show off some of their past, 3 or so holiday cards that they put out. And I think that's pretty cool. So they'll have an opportunity for a community made one. You got to have your entry in by October 11th, and they'll announce the winner on October 18th. If you do win, you of course get that artist in residence emblem. It's pretty cool. I know some great artists that I bet are gonna compete.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, there's so many great artists in the community, like they said.
Luck, guys.
I mean, we've got a bunch in our community. So, great stuff. Get them in there,
absolutely. Next up over in Destiny player support.
Your favorite section.
Yes. And we're going to talk about some of this stuff in a minute, but, there is, of course, if you didn't hear, the quest for malfeasance is live. Finally.
There's a bit of RNG to it, but yes, it's live.
Oh boy, we'll talk about that. But there is a quest step, Darkness in the Light, in which I believe you play a strike, and people found that you could actually fit a 6-man fire team into this, and folks were assuming that this was intentional, but they're actually clarifying they're going to address this in a hotfix. But it was meant for 3 players, designed and tested for 3 players. They said be careful if you're going in with 6, because you can encounter memory issues that could result in poor game performance or unexpected client crashes.
Yeah, because I think you loaded in with 3, and then you could invite another fire team.
Yeah,
so you couldn't load in with 6, because that might have been kind of the indicating factor there.
I when I heard that, I was like, I don't think that's intentional. That doesn't sound right,
Yeah.
Next up, they mentioned they did do some website maintenance on Bungie.net. So the API was down a little while. Forgive them for that. There are some known issues. Some of these are going to be a little bit too late to help you, but a couple of them they're working on, like the Gambit clan engrams are not being awarded as expected. I've had that problem this week. Prime engrams from the Crucible sometimes are going straight to the postmaster. Problems with Oathkeeper draw speed. That's that Hunter exotic we were talking about, is not working as intended.
Maybe I don't want it right now.
Yep. And some other, continued problems, guitar errors in the Last Wish raid. I've seen that one. And then finally, to wrap it up, the silver screen, they call it, the movies of the week. Did you check these out?
I watched the second one. I was thinking it was going to be like a environment instrumental music. It wasn't that, but I was still pleasantly surprised and pleased. It was quite entertaining.
Welcome to the Dreaming City.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me a lot is of Fallout trailers.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
Didn't it make you think about that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I thought of watching this.
Put together very nicely.
And then they had a guy run the Shattered Throne solo, which is the new dungeon we're going to talk about.
Crazy.
Yep.
And to wrap up the TWAB, man, I always feel like we play this game so much, and it's like basically the only game we play a lot of the time. So we really pick apart a lot of this stuff,
Sure,
and it comes across as, we're critiquing several things. But man, I gotta say overall, like seeing a lot of this stuff in the TWAB this early, with the feedback, like just fresh, just going in, like this is some great changes, right? So hopefully
absolutely.
we see them in a hot fix soon.
We're not always going to get things exactly the way that we want,
Right.
You can hope, you can ask, but you can't always have your way.
Is the communication is there, and the Yes, the communication.
Yeah, I appreciate the
engagement.
team talking to us, talking about, what are obvious conversations in the community, voicing what their goals are and what they expect to do with things. And, even telling us, hey, look, here's what we're going to plan to do. We'll let you know when it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I at least feel great that, okay, that like they're, acknowledging the economy. They're acknowledging exotics. They're acknowledging Iron Banner, right off the bat. And so we know that those things are going to be improved and we can just move on and not commiserate,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Which is,
and that keeps a happy community and positive players.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what many felt we were missing, portions of, many months ago. So it's great. It's a good thing.
For sure. They're keeping up the communication as they promised on their end of this, their end of the deal.
Been
keeping it up
a long time ago now. So.
Yeah. Kudos. Well, let's talk about some of the new things that popped up this week.
Yeah, man. The resets are so exciting. They're exciting
so
anyways.
Much stuff this week.
Log into a fresh set of challenges and stuff to do. But wow, there's so much going on in the Dreaming City right now, dude.
Yeah. So the Malfeasance quest is live. If you're not aware, Malfeasance is an exotic hand cannon that's kind of specific to Gambit. And if you want that sucker, you got to go into Gambit. And what happens is there will be, when you summon a primeval, as far as everyone can tell, it's totally random. But a special boss will appear. I believe it is, what is it titled? It's the model of the bad guy is like the Eye of Riven from the campaign.
And I think it's I
think it's Ascended or Taken Eye of Riven or something like that.
Yeah. I did the, heroic, tier 4 blind well this week, and I'm pretty certain it's the same boss you fight this week.
Oh, it is. Too. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yep.
No doubt. So you got to get that guy to spawn. The catch is that, as we said, it's random. So, I had a buddy who, when it went live on Tuesday at Reset, he went on his lunch break, and he played some matches and he got on like the second or third match. I was like, oh, great. It's going to be, fairly easy to get. I've played like 5+ hours of Gambit. No dice.
Nada.
I got a buddy that's got 10. No dice. I mean,
dude. And then the other factor, I've only played one game of Gambit, I think. So I've been doing all my challenges and stuff, but I'm going to jump in this week here soon and try to see if I can get it to spawn. But the other factor is if you have to get him to spawn,
you got to win the round.
Win, then dude, I so hope that doesn't happen to many Guardians.
I would just die. But yeah, so you got to get them to spawn and then you got to win the round. And if you do, you get something to drop called the Seething Heart,
which starts the exotic
that starts
chain.
The quest.
You would think there would be something we just haven't figured out that triggers it. Man, for it to be totally RNG and you have to win.
I've been looking at Twitter, looking at different Bungie devs, and they're all guys that worked on Gambit mode, Sandbox. They're like, yeah, that feel when you worked on Gambit, but you can't get the boss to proc. Like, I think they're all acknowledging that it's random. So
it's just, man, wow.
Yeah. But it's cool, man. Like I'll get it eventually. It would have been great to get it soon and be one of the first to have it. My buddy got it and he had it, Wednesday. He finished the quest. Part of the quest is doing more Gambit. So when I was grinding for it, we were helping him complete his, his quest steps, and he's like, come on, stick it out with me, man. I need 2 more wins.
We've said it many times. RNG is just part of the Destiny experience. It always has been. And while it stinks, if it takes a while, when you get it, it's just so sweet, right?
Yeah.
It's just always been part of Destiny.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting it, though. It's a beautiful
don't want to spoil anything, but there's, some really cool quest steps. Some stuff happens in real time as you're going through. And if you've caught any lore that you might have read ahead of time, some of that stuff will tie in and kind of unfold. So it's a pretty cool quest, from what I've read. I haven't watched any of it, but I can't wait to get it.
Yeah.
Did you? Okay. Yeah.
I watched it all.
You'll see, but it's cool. And it seems like a pretty neat weapon. I've heard mixed reviews on its usefulness, but it's definitely unique.
Yep. Yeah. It's definitely got perks for specific areas, and it's the classic, more effective on taking enemies. So it's very specific, and when you
I mean, it's got to be super useful in the raid where there's tons of taken. Spoilers if you didn't know that, but and certainly got to be useful in Gambit, where what it's made for, I would think. So cool gun,
cool stuff. Yeah.
And then another appearance of a kind of a special event this week. There is they're calling it a dungeon, just kind of a new designation of a type of activity that showed up in the Dreaming City. What is it called again? It's called
Shattered Throne.
The Shattered Throne. Yeah.
Yep.
And they did. I might have skipped over this in the TWAB. They did mention that it is a limited time activity for this week.
Yeah.
People are asking, hey, is it going to stick around?
Yeah.
And, you've got, they said if you didn't finish it this week, it'll be back on the next 3-week rotation. Yeah. We're on
the whole Dreaming
end
City,
of a 3-week.
Yeah. It's a 3-week rotation. Right now it's like the beginning of the 12. What'd they say? It said it's most whatever state.
Yeah, it's most corrupted
state.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, so it'll be 3 weeks after this reset. So I guess
So
as you're
cursed.
listening to this, it's over.
Yeah, by now it's over. Hopefully you got a crack at it. It is a 590.
It's crazy. I'm not anywhere close to trying that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm about to hit 540.
I've only heard about it. I have not watched any of it.
I have
played any of it yet at this point. Yeah, I don't blame you. I know you like to go check that stuff out. You know how I am. I'm like, oh no, I gotta see it for myself. But, the word this is a really cool activity because it's almost like a 3-man, miniature raid lair.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of folks are really digging it because it's got raid-like mechanics in a high difficulty level, but it's made for 3 players. It's smaller and shorter than a raid. What do you think about, them introducing a new kind of activity?
I like it, man. I think, I even think this has kind of got a secret element too, because I want to say that some of these steps, they actually don't even show up, on the director or on your interface, some of these NPCs. And, so it throws me off because I always have called strikes our version of dungeons, in Destiny, but I like it, dude. I like this whole challenging thing. I will say no spoilers. But you do have to visit it more than just completing it. There's other reasons to go back to it, after some of the stuff that I've watched. So, I like that it's not a one and done kind of thing too. They give you more reasons to go back in there to achieve something, I'll just say. And it's, I don't know, man. I'm fine with it. I like it. I think it's cool.
What I
why not more
understand
content?
is, that this opens up the quest for Wishender.
Yes, which is huge. I've been waiting, but I knew even when it came to surface, I wouldn't be ready to go do it yet. I've got more grinding to do. See, that Wishender dude is a kinetic bow, and I really I use an energy bow right now, and I want a kinetic bow to vary my loadout. Now, it's had mixed reviews too. It's definitely probably more beneficial in PvP, which is what I want it for, versus PvE with the perk set it has. But yeah, man, that whole thing kicked off, and it's not gonna be easy to get that thing. It's gonna be a challenging quest chain there. So
yeah, and I was trying to find the tweets just now. One of the designers that worked on this was kind of replying to different folks' reaction to the activity on Tuesday. And they were like, what do you think? Do you want more of this? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see this more. I'd love to see,
why not,
harder versions or, hidden loot or farmable loot. And they were like, well, what makes you think we didn't? So, I did see today, there is a unique legendary for this that you can get to drop. And it also makes me wonder if, this isn't the only dungeon that we might see.
Mm-hmm. That would be
I think
cool,
it's really cool, man.
Yeah, I was going to ask what your thoughts were on it. I mean,
I'm excited about it. I mean, I haven't had a chance to tackle it. I'm planning to hopefully try to get in there this week, this weekend before it disappears and tackle it. Cause I'd really
It'll
like
be
to.
next time for me.
Yeah. I'd really like to at least,
attempt it.
Give it a shot. Yeah. I think it's a cool niche, of a activity to kind of fit in, like we mentioned, that in between, a strike and a raid.
Good point.
Has got, it's kind of like what the Whisper of the Worm mission was.
Mm-hmm.
It almost seems like that was a dungeon.
Right.
And that was hugely
that's very
possible.
True. Kind of similar to that, and it's, I've heard in the community too this week, a good point, from some creators, like with seeing Wishender now, we've now pretty much seen most everything that they've showed or teased us. So it's almost time, soon probably to be moving into the Whisper of the Worm equivalent territory.
Yeah, I get the feeling that I would be surprised if there's not an exotic that we haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm. Surface soon.
Yeah. Something.
The community knows how to figure it out.
Cause they can classify, they can hide stuff in the API and you just don't know. But, one cool thing that people were able to figure out is that the Wishender, and this was speculated, but that they can, pop open those eggs, the sparkly eggs in the Dreaming City.
There's, I don't know if it's a Triumph or what it is, but there's it's listed as 40 of those around the Dreaming City, right?
For popping them all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
when you do so, they give you stuff.
Right.
They give you loot.
They give you loot. Yeah. That's crazy. I can't believe it. Just boom, loot. Is it powerful too? Or is it just,
I don't think so. No.
You don't, okay. That makes sense.
Kind of like a regular chest.
Yeah. Okay. Just a random roll on a piece of gear. Yeah, man. There's those eggs. And then of course, we just kind of teased last week, just not to spoil anything for you guys, but the Wall of Wishes in the raid, the community's still figuring that out. They're close to finding all 15.
They were finding, like last night and today, I saw that there was a couple more that were found.
Yeah. So we're getting close. Plates. People are wondering when they solve all 15, if we'll see something new or what you'll get, or if the community, if it'll unlock something, who knows?
Yeah.
This is all speculation, but, man, there's so much stuff right now. I'm not complaining. I'm so thrilled and so happy, dude, but I see like reviews for Nightfall specific loot pop up on my YouTube feed, and I'm like, I can't even think about Nightfall specific loot right now. It's not even anywhere on my radar grinding for that. Like there's just so much to do and so much to get to. Like I mentioned last week, I haven't spent a ton of time in the Dreaming City, and I am this reset. Like I'm finally spending more time there, and I tried my first Ascendant challenge, and I just feel like there's just so much for me to do. I can't even go do some of this old school stuff we used to do. That's an excellent problem. So
yeah, for sure.
Without a doubt.
So one other thing, as far as there are a couple things in the Dreaming City, of course, there was another new mission this week that was really cool. And, Petra moved. She's in a different location, kind of armed with her, supremacy, out in battle. And the Dreaming City is mega taken. It's
when I first loaded in, dude, I was like, holy cow. This is crazy.
It's really
huge
cool.
Lights everywhere. Yeah.
But man, I think my favorite event this week was,
talk about it.
Delivering an offering.
Dude, presenting that offering.
Yep. And jumping through a portal and going to visit Queen Marasov.
How awesome was that, dude? And
that was such a payoff.
Can we just talk about the entry into it? That's that.
Right.
To build that environment, that was just so cool, dude, for that to twist around and open up into a portal. And I'm like, I actually hadn't even presented an offering yet. That was the first one I did was this week. So I had that moment where I was like, wait, has this happened every week? And I just didn't see Mara.
Well, what
I'm like,
happens,
no way.
Like, is it spins the same way and some stuff lines up and then it just glows and then just the chest shows up.
Okay.
And then that's it.
I'm like, surely I would have seen this in my feed. But dude, what a treat, right? That was
it was really cool.
Super cool.
And of course, everybody's speculating about, like, what does this mean? Like, where is she? Where's the place that you go to? Is it really her? There's just so many things.
So many things. Well, and the community's been asking so long. When are we going to see the queen again? When are we going to get the queen back?
Yeah.
What's that story? And yeah, dude, it was.
Oh, and
that
on
was
top
just
of
so
it,
cool.
you can get your third seed of light.
Yes, I did that. Yep.
Yeah. So that's really cool. A simple way, not terribly challenging to get that. And you just got to go do some blind well, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then you can go in there and she's got a little gift for you and she's all sparkly and got a new outfit. She looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's such a cool character. I guess we didn't throw a spoiler warning in front of that, but that's okay, guys. At this point, we're covering everything.
Yeah, hopefully you've seen it at this point. If not, you're hearing about it, and you can, I guess, do that again in 3 weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, in 3 weeks. Yeah. But dude, there's also just still rumblings in the community. We talked about last week in that panel where they just kind of mentioned Eris, but there's been nothing official, but more developments in the community, finding stuff in the lore, this or that, and other things that just some hints to Eris and some possible things maybe happening.
What did I miss? I keep catching wind of that, but I haven't found any.
I don't think there's anything concrete, dude.
Or people just worked up about it.
Yeah, people are they're just looking everywhere. Of course, in the lore and the triumphs and stuff like that. And there's some. Again, I don't think anything's concrete. I think there's some things that are pretty reasonable that we could see Eris again, but I don't want to speculate too hard. But how cool would that be? That would be another cool fact.
Well, and with the most interesting thing is like how would and how does Eris tie into this story, right? We haven't seen her since the last cutscene of the Taken King, and she mentioned, it is done, my queen. And she pulls Oryx's sword and grabs the little hilt part, and you end up with that somehow and so forth. And then, I think she was she in the tower for a little while after that? And, but after that campaign, I think she was. I think she stayed in the tower until, Rise of Iron, maybe, and then after that, she rolled out. She leaves the tower officially before the Red War, and so we don't know where she's been since then, what she's up to. She talks about things in the lore about her relationship with Asher Mir and being there for him when he loses his arm, and then we don't know what she's been up to since then. There's not really any other thing concrete.
Get something from her and the queen in the same expansion would be.
But she does elaborate. She basically is an agent of the queen. She kind of is in league with her and works for her now, kind of a knight on her chessboard. So, where she is and what she's doing, who knows? But it's got to be something important.
Do you think?
We'll find out. Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see.
We'll see.
So much stuff. Dude.
I'm interested. I love the
not
story
even just
that
activity, but the lore. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really fascinating. They're doing a really good job of, weaving together a tale and sparking imagination and mystery. I really enjoy it.
I've tweeted out a few times, man. I really feel like we're in that state right now of Destiny. We've said several times that it's very possible when Forsaken would launch that it would be the best Destiny experience we've had to date. And I feel like we are right in the midst of like just experiencing this amazing game and content, and it's, hopefully it will continue, but wow, is it a lot of fun right now, dude. It's so great to be a Destiny player and be a Guardian.
It's almost too much fun, man.
I have those like
to
giddy
do.
moments right now where I'm at work or while I'm playing, and I'm like, I'm so excited, dude. I just want to keep playing. I want to keep, there's so much to do, so much to grind for. And when all that's said and done, maybe I'll get back to PvP and working on my builds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's fun times, dude. I don't know when we're going to fit in other games.
Well, we'll cover one last piece of juicy news before we talk about our reset here.
This was
kind
a
of
surprise.
related. Some big news just in gaming. PlayStation has moved into a beta of Fortnite, allowing full crossplay across all systems.
Yep.
So
Surprise.
if you're in that beta, you can now crossplay with Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, Android, iOS, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see this coming from a mile away, man.
They seemed pretty stern, set in their ways on that whole aspect. And yeah, this is a pleasant surprise. You know, it's the big piece of it for the Destiny community, because I've seen it all over my feed with all my Destiny friends.
Right.
As people are super hopeful now, maybe this will be the starting point, get the ball rolling on seeing some cross play or cross save for Destiny and Bungie. But dude, I honestly, my importance level between cross play and cross save in Destiny, it's like I would be completely fine if we never see cross play. I just 150% would love to see cross save at some point.
Yeah, it would open up.
Crossplay would be cool, but man, I would love for be able to take my characters across platform.
I think it's far more likely in this scenario for this game, if that were to happen, for cross save to be the solution.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's PC is balanced differently. There are, I think, other technical issues that they would have to sort out for cross save. There's account issues. There's a variety of things, but in the end, honestly, my opinion, you know, it would come down to money. And for Fortnite, it makes sense, you know, for everybody to be able to do crossplay, because Epic doesn't care what platform you're on. They just want you in the game because the game is free. They want you in the game so you can buy the microtransactions. That's how they make money. Destiny's not totally the case. You know, they want to sell copies of the game. And if you want to sell copies of the game, cross save is the way to go.
Yeah, dude, I would own 3 copies of Forsaken right now.
Exactly.
Yep.
You're going to go out and buy the expansions and the collection and et cetera, if you want to be able to play on different platforms. So I think that is probably the smart way to go, so they don't have to take on the issues of the balancing PC with console, and of course the ire that it would draw to try to take care of those issues. But
yeah, I think a lot of people just naturally, just in talking about it, those things just kind of go hand in hand when you're talking about the topic. But I think if you ask Guardians which they would prefer, I mean, I would think many would prefer cross save over cross play, which was more important.
I just want to be able to go play with other people and have my Guardians, you know.
Yeah, you know, they would have
they built a game with so much to do that I can't.
There's no way, not now.
Multiple. Yeah,
there's no way now. And, you know, they would have the challenge of initially implementing it because, of course, everyone's got characters on multiple different platforms now if they're doing that. So you'd have to have some sort of option, I guess.
I think they would just make people choose, you know.
Yeah, right. When do you want to or not? Yeah. So, man, it would be so cool, dude. I would love it. I'd love to be able to just log on to Xbox one night and be like, yeah, dude, there's my Titan. Let's go play some Destiny Cyborg.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, and be able to jump on PC and have that experience and have my gear, you know, and be able to progress. And I mean, cause playing Destiny 2 on PC is a whole different world, man. It's so pretty.
Man, we're talking about it selling consoles, or I mean, selling copies of the game. It could sell consoles, right?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's less likely to sell as many of those, but shoot, you know, even a Derp fan member that wants to play with the Xbox side of the family and they have a PlayStation, you know?
Even as far as, I let my PlayStation Gold or Live or whatever it's called subscription expire.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to buy that to use the game. I'm going to buy the game on there. There's a lot of ways that they can win with this. So
I think it's an important
big news.
topic
I think
for
it's
them
going to be a little
consider.
bit down the road, but the potential is there now, right?
Well, now that
precedent.
Bungie is open to their door, or sorry, I said
Yeah.
Bungie. Now that PlayStation has opened their doors, now Bungie maybe can throw it a little bit higher on the list.
Yeah.
for
And
the
I think
future.
that them, having Activision as a publisher could, really make, I think if it happens, it's going to have a lot to do with Activision, and it's going to be more than just Destiny. I think you could see some deals worked out, with Call of Duty and other big titles that Activision publishes having those capabilities. Cause I think in the end, it comes down to money. It comes down to revenue share and,
there's
and
so
different
many,
things.
yeah. So
I
many ways.
absolutely think a big part of why that happened is Epic put through some money on the table. Whether that was, transaction fees or, profit sharing or whatever it is, it has to do with money at the end of the day.
Yeah, you would think they wouldn't have done that because they really don't have a lot of money to play with right now. Yeah, right.
Right. 300 mil a month. Yeah.
Crazy. It is
throw money away.
absolutely insane, dude.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well, now that all that's on the table, how was your reset, man?
Dude, my reset has been excellent. We've only been in it for a couple days, but like I said, I am putting some time into Destiny. Just, I'm starting to get my new weekly reset routine down. The challenges and all that are making more sense to my brain. I've gotten used to it. I've gotten used to that blade being gone. And I go in, I check for dailies. I actually make my tower visit, grab my bounties, do the thing, grab some XP boosters, all kinds of boosters you can get now. Masterwork cores, Glimmer. Do that whole thing, go out and do my dailies. Like I said, I've been spending more time in the Dreaming City. I had spent, some time in the Dreaming City, but, I was focusing on my dailies and all that kind of stuff until I hit, mid 530s and stuff like that. So, I've grinded quite a bit already in the Dreaming City. I did go do the Blind Well and I got lucky. Somebody, a rando in there popped the tier 3 and then also popped the heroic. So my goal was hopefully to get that knocked out and get some high power level gear there. And the only thing I'm having a problem with, dude, is, even with it only being, 2, the, Petra's powerful gear for completing 2 weekly bounties. Unless you run an Ascendant challenge, you can't complete that one, right?
Yeah, you have to do the Ascendant challenge and the Blind Well.
Yeah. This week is the first week I jumped. Well, sorry. No, it was last reset. I think after we recorded on Monday, I jumped into one real quick before it changed at reset. And, dude, talk about like challenging your saltiness levels. I hadn't done one yet, and it was all just kind of new to me. I've watched some footage on it, and this one wasn't too bad. It was more just about scaling last
the Ascendant
resets.
challenge.
Yeah, the Ascendant challenge last reset. You kind of just had to scale way up high, and then there was a boss at the top.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I got him to a sliver like 2 or 3 times. And then just had like a random death each time. And then there's a cooldown on that, I guess. It's a pretty long time, but at a certain point, it may have been 20 to 30 minutes into attempting it, I couldn't see the platforms anymore and the portal was gone. I couldn't get back in there. So I guess there's some sort of cooldown. So I didn't even complete it next time, but
for the future, if that happens, just leave the area and come back.
Really? Okay.
Either that or your tincture ran out.
I think it did finally, because I jumped in that thing like 4 or 5 times, and I just plus
you need
I was
with you, man. You need an anchor.
I was solo in it. I was a little bit lower light, but I was so close to beating it a couple of different times. Yeah. I might try to jump in this week's, but
you can do this week solo for sure.
Yeah. I think I might try to do it. But yeah, I'm not completing her weekly bounties because I haven't been jumping in those Ascended challenges. I've been trying to get caught up on some of the Dreaming City stuff, but I'm still enjoying myself, man. I played a Gambit game to get my powerful engram, which we're going to talk in Discourse real quick. We'll give you guys a quick rundown. There's a whole strategy to your powerful gear, acquiring your powerful gear right now. We're just going to give you guys some tips, but, yeah, dude, I'm just doing the grinding thing, man. I'm almost about to hit 540. I've been playing. I still love that I can play solo at random times of the early morning. And then, I'll meet up with some friends and some Dirt Fam here or there. But, what about you, man? What have you been doing this week?
Just tackling everything I can. I've only done stuff on one character. I've still got challenges on my Titan to do. But I did the tier 4 blind well. We actually were able to 3-man that one. Nice. It wasn't as bad as last week. It's a little more straightforward. So we got that done. Doing let's see, Dreaming City stuff, the Ascendant challenge, like you talked about. Ran a bunch of Gambit. We went in, we started the raid. We got through the first 2 encounters without too much trouble. And then we started working on the third one that we had made it to last time. We actually had time to try to figure it out. We got it solved, how we need to do it, but then it just got too late. Somebody had to get offline. And go to bed. So I think we're going to try to pick that back up at some point this weekend if I can. And so hopefully we'll make some further progress, man. It's like there's a lot of encounters to the raid, but when you're going in and solving them all, there's a time investment that, and then everybody just has different schedules. So we're maybe getting like 3 hours at a time to work on it,
Yeah.
But it's fun so far, and I've got I got some better drops this week. I got, a couple weapons. So I was excited about that. I got a really good pulse that I like a lot with a great roll on it, from the raid. And man, what else fun stuff have I gotten into, man? Just it all blurs together after a while.
It does, dude. Like we make it to the show and start recording, and I'm like, I've done so much. I feel like I'm not even telling you half of it. But I've actually. So have you not started leveling any other characters yet? You said you're just doing your time.
Well, I have 2. Last reset, I was able to get 2 characters with all their challenges done.
Oh, cool.
I haven't started the second guy doing his challenges this week yet. And then, I did get like the first mission of the campaign done on my hunter last reset, just starting it at least,
Yeah. That's,
I'm just going to kind of
character?
chip away at that. Yeah. The third guy. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's hard to keep up with 2 or even.
I know.
3.
Like I said, why I decided to do it now, I don't know. But man, I love the process of leveling your character. I've almost got my Warlock to max level. I'm trying to get them. My Hunter's good to go. My Titan, of course, is my main. So he's good. And then my Warlock, I've almost got to 50 and through the Barons. I'm trying to get them, like you kind of mentioned, just to the point where they're ready to go,
right.
Through all of that initial stuff. So yeah, I'm doing the whole 3 character thing. I am loving
there's a lot to do, and then they keep throwing us new stuff. So I'm just trying to keep up with the new stuff first.
And I'm definitely prioritizing my Titan. I get on and do the things and do the stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I kind of feel like just working on one of my other characters. And, I'm loving that. I talked about it last week a little bit, but I'm loving that, Attunement of Grace Warlock super. It's so fun, dude. And I've got my Code of the Commander fully leveled up now, and I'm really loving these. Even with when I'm playing with solo and there's blueberries around, everybody's kind of figuring out what the supers are, and I love seeing them like rally around my support role. Everybody hunkered down in that Rift super, throwing that sword into the ground or whatever, and then when you throw up in that, when I did the heroic blind well, I was throwing up that massive void wall, dude, and I was trying to angle it the right way, and I could tell everybody was kind of trying to rally behind it, I love these new supers, dude. They're cool. They're a lot of fun. So
absolutely.
I got my third Seed of Light too, so I unlocked the
nice.
the Devastator or whatever. So I literally just filled in the first node before we started recording earlier tonight, so I haven't experienced that one much yet. You've played on that one a lot, right? That was the
I played a good bit. I got it fully leveled up. We actually were using it in the raid. I guess it was last night for one encounter. It was proven really useful. It's very niche, and but if used right, it can be really effective. And actually, it was funny. I was using it some in Iron Banner last week, and I was just laughing. I had a guy. What super did he have? I want to say it was Arc Strider, and I popped he was coming after me, so I popped my super and I just threw up my shield, and he was just trying so hard, just trying to get through that shield, and he couldn't get through, just stopping him. But then at the end, I ran out before he did, and he killed me like with his last bit of super. I was so pissed.
That's great.
I guess I should have waited till he took a breath and then, like hit him with the shield or something. But I was just, just experimenting with it. But you can do some interesting stuff like that.
Oh, I'll tell you too, man. I noticed somebody was running that, it's Devastator, right? The maul, the burning maul or whatever, the flaming hammer. The
Maybe
super.
so.
Is it Devastator? I can't remember. What it's called, but somebody was running that new Titan solar class in Breakthrough, and we were all hunkered down on their vault trying to capture it, and he just came in and slammed that hammer down and killed all of us. I'm like,
nice.
Okay, yep, that's when you can use that
it's
in
great
PvP.
if you've got people like central, kind of hunkered in one place. It's really effective for that.
Yep.
You can do that slam a whole bunch of times and just pop people.
Yeah, it does a little tornado effect too. When you, that's cool. Yep, I like all the visuals.
It's fun. I haven't used that one as much for a week or two because the top tree hammers is so good and effective for like AOE. Gambit. It's really, I've been using it in the raid. It's just it has so much utility, man. It's so good. It's, it's got the debuff, with your shoulder charge type ability if you want to do melting point type ability. And then you've got the it's when you hit enemies with your hammer, they splinter apart, so it kills more enemies.
So massive.
It's just really good.
It's so
man.
cool to see that. Yeah, when that procs. That's a good one.
So I use that one a lot. I did get the Arc Titan unlocked, but I confess I haven't even tried it.
It's fun, man.
I keep forgetting I have it, because I didn't have a third subclass for a while, so I wasn't even playing Striker. And I keep forgetting, I'm like, oh man, I need to go just try it out, because apparently that missile launch does a ton of damage to single target.
Yeah,
huge damage.
That super or that subclass tree is pretty cool for Gambit, I think, because even the shoulder charge, the melee,
it's like
the melee
is a
mini
right?
slam, so it's really cool to kill ads with that thing, and it's just fun to do.
I've seen people use that super to invade really effectively, because you can just fly up and then see the guys and then slam them. I've gotten killed from it. So.
It's a cool super. I like it.
Yep.
Well, there you have it.
That was our reset. Let's do some Durfam discourse and then wrap this thing up, man.
We've done all that in 2 days.
Yep.
No wonder our shows have been almost 2 hours long. We record after a full week. So yeah, man, discourse. We have some emails we're holding on to because they're good questions. They're more general questions. And don't worry, we will share those soon, guys. But what we did want to do this week, we've seen, kind of a lot of people covering this in the community, and, it can be kind of confusing. We wanted to talk about power level, giving you guys some power leveling advice and how to prioritize at a certain point. Have you have you started to figure out, Cyborg, your strategy once you hit certain, because you're 560, you said, right?
I am, as of right now, 574.
Oh, wow, dude. Okay, cool.
I jumped up a lot.
Wow. That raid,
reset.
Those encounters, have you completed an encounter? Is it giving you some loot?
Yeah. I got some powerful drops, and then, I had some other just really good, lucky drops from other stuff too.
Well, plus that whole mechanic's in play where the harder the activity, the bigger jump you'll see, right?
So that's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. You
Yes.
want to, but overall, the best strategy I will recommend is first completing the harder activities that you can get to.
If you can. Yep.
Yeah. So that you can get the biggest jump, in light. So as opposed to getting something that's 1 power level higher, if you can get something that's 5 or even closer to 10 power levels above you, once you equip that, you're going to get a bigger boost and so forth. And once you get through those harder activities, then go and complete the other type of challenges that don't give as much gains, but it will help even out other areas where you didn't get as much of a jump, right? So maybe you've got some, maybe you're 550 and you got a 558 arms and a 557 kinetic, right? And you got a little bit of a jump. So now you can go do some more activities that will give you some items to kind of average out that light a little bit, push it up a point or two. So that's kind of the name of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's, if you're level 500, power level 500, you can just go do whatever. You're gonna see an increase until you hit about 520 or so. And then that's where it gets kind of interesting. What Cyborg was saying is, from 520 to 540, that's when you want to start trying to do things like the Nightfall, the Dreaming City stuff, Blind Well, the Spider's Weekly Bounty. I've done a couple of these. They're really, really fun.
Specifically the
last one.
The most difficult one. It's got like a red icon.
Yep. And they're super fun, man. They're so fun. Yeah. So those, like, if you're between 520 and 540, do those. Of course, priming grams and exotics
and the raid
will give you a bump. And the raid. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then, once you hit 540 to 560, basically your power level increase, it just gets more specific on the activities you need to run to see the most bang for your buck. So from 540 to 560, it's Nightfall, Dreaming City, Last Wish, priming gram, is exotics. And then when you hit 560 and you're grinding for that 600, it's even smaller pool. It's Dreaming City stuff, Last Wish, and then of course priming grams and exotics, and the thing that I've seen is, when I first was looking at some coverage on this, people seemed to think that once you hit 520, it sounded like there was no point in doing your dailies and stuff anymore. There still is. It's just like you said, do the harder stuff first and then go back into your dailies.
You're going to get smaller gains. It's not that they won't give you an increase. It's that the increase is going to be much less significant.
Right. It may be 1. And the other thing about it too is it will give you an increase based on your max power level. Therefore, which I've had multiple times, and it didn't click with me at first. And I don't know, I think they've talked about this in a TWAP. Maybe it was last week, but it will give you an increase on your max power level. Therefore, you could get a piece of gear that is actually lower than one you're already using. So it doesn't even benefit you.
So example, this happened to me last night, right? I had a pair of 576 gauntlets on. But my average was not 576 at that time. I think it was like 569 or 570 or something. And I got another pair of gauntlets and they were at 570. And that's because my average power level was not 576. So when you're doing those types of activities, pick up a clan engram or complete a, weekly strike or a daily, those things that give you a less of a gain, it's always going to be at least +1, but it's only going to be +1 of what your actual power level is, even if the item you have equipped is higher than that. And that can stink. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. It's happened to me several times. Yep.
You'll get dupes and they're lower and you're like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes into the thing. I really do want, you do at some point, you just got to start doing more challenging stuff. But I love though still that I want us to have a reason to do dailies and stuff like that. But I still, strikes are always in there too, man. And we still have that same little piece of the puzzle that I don't feel like there's a reason for me to do strikes.
The time investment isn't as good as far as the challenge.
I want to do strikes. I want to do them. So it is one of those things. I hope at some point we get to a point where I guess the Nightfall is that. Strikes or dungeons, man, and I love just grinding strikes. And as far as a power increase, they just seem like they get rolled out so quick. I remember talking about this with you when Warmind launched, and that was kind of a topic that they were discussing. And I hoped maybe by Forsaken we'd see a little bit of a change, but it's okay, man. There's so much to do. I really do. And strikes are so good now. Like they're so fun. The ones that they've built, so I always like a reason to jump in and do strikes. But anyways, there you go, guys. That's the power advice we have and things we've learned, playing and watching other creators and what they're doing and stuff like that. So
if you've got any tips or tricks on grinding power, let us know. Of course, there's other more advanced stuff with certain activities, farming blues at certain power levels. There's using items on your alts to help boost them up in the order in which you do things. I mean, there's more to it, but hopefully this will give you an idea, of where to spend your time if you're trying to gain power. If you're confused about something, tweet me or Arrow, we'll try to set you straight or direct you on a good resource of, where to look. There's some strategy involved though, for sure. If you just kind of haphazardly just go through stuff, you're not going to have as good of a result. I'll tell you that much.
Right. Yeah.
And then just be prepared to sometimes just be disappointed, because there's always RNG,
There's always RNG. That's exactly
absolutely.
Right.
All right, man. Do we have any new Derp Fam patrons?
We do. This week we've got Omki.
All right.
Omki. Yep. Big shout out. Thank you so much for the support. Also gotta throw out just a notice to all of you Guardians that are patrons. If you haven't checked your messages since you became a patron, please do so. We want to get your gamer tag so we can give you your shout out on the show and get you on our website. So just like we did this awesome Guardian here, make sure you go check your Patreon messages, because we probably sent you one after you became a patron. But thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
If you don't know what a patron is, go to patreon.com/Destiny Reset, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. You get a couple of perks from this. You get a shout out on the podcast. You get your gamer tag on our website, and you get an invitation to a Discord channel just for Derp Fan patrons and supporters. We always want to say we really appreciate our patrons.
Yes.
Very much.
Very much so. It's baffling how many of you are supporting us on Patreon.
Absolutely.
And PayPal. Yeah, we very much appreciate it each time. So, I wanted to say too, man, I don't know if we said it, just in case you guys don't already know, please send us your Derp Fam discourse. There's so much going on in the game right now. We want to hear your experiences. So just in case you didn't know, you can email us at destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com or send us a speakpipe. Speakpipe.com/destinyreset. I don't want to leave that out, because you guys got to send us your stories, man. Like send us topics. We want to talk about what you guys want to hear us talk about. We want some topics. So
yes,
do that. There you have it.
All right, man. Good show.
Yeah, good show. We were shooting for not 2 hours this week, but it seems easy to do
close.
these days.
We did all right. All right, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at AER0KNIGHT with a 0. What about you, buddy?
You can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Mixer. And then finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter and the World Wide Web, www.destinyresetpodcast.com. That's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app of choice.
There you have it.
All right.
No new reviews this week, but that's okay.
Apple Podcasts, yes.
We've gotten so many. Thank you guys so much. Now, we say no new reviews. We might have some on some different countries, but we do check those periodically, guys. So if you've left us one, we will get to it. But no new U.S. iTunes reviews. So if you guys want to go out and leave us a crispy review, we would very much appreciate it.
For sure.
All
right, buddy.
You going to play tonight, or are you going to?
I think I'm going to crash.
3 a.m, dude. This might be a record.
Yep. Time to go
late
to bed.
Recording. All right, dude. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny 2 and take care, Guardians.